As of January 1st, 2023, the following things will go into effect, and people need to be aware of this. It abolishes cash bail for almost every offense. This includes, but isn't limited to, kidnapping, armed robbery, second-degree murder, drug-induced homicide, aggravated DUI, threatening a public official, and aggravated fleeing and eluding. Offenders released on electronic monitoring have to be in violation for 48 hours before law enforcement can act. They could almost drive to Alaska before we can even look for them. It denies victims their constitutional rights. And keep this in mind, businesses and homeowners. Officers will no longer be able to remove trespassers from your residence or your businesses. Someone could decide to live in your shed, and all we can do is give them a ticket. You have to decide what level of force is required to remove them and whether or not it's legal. This is a massive threat to the residents of Orland Park, Cook County, and Illinois.
Good Lord, it's about to get real. It's already real out in Chicago. Good Lord, you think about now, damn, you heard that, you're going to have to figure out how much force you needed to use, and if with this in the law, somebody is camped out in your shed or on your property. Can you imagine that? Like, what kind of third world are we living in, or at least Illinois? And it's crazy because at some point this is going to span out into other states, you know what I mean? Big cities, you know what I mean? So we got Chicago, we got Los Angeles, we got Florida, and of course we got New York. We got these big states right here. And think about it, you know, ultimately, what is this going to turn into? What's the world going to turn into? Think about it, because it's coming down the pipeline.
Hey, what's up, guys? John here. The movie Purge turns out to be our everyday real life, and it starts in 2023. January 1st, 2023, we are going to see the Purge kick off in Chicago as they eliminate cash bail and allow nearly every single crime to become fully legal. Even if you committed the most heinous crime that you could possibly imagine, they couldn't hold you for longer than 90 days in Chicago. The big question is, what is this going to do to the residents in Chicago? What is it going to do to property values, the economy, the job market? Is this going to go to places like Philadelphia, places like Boston, places like LA, New York City, all over, right? You look at a lot of these cities, they all kind of follow each other in terms of landlord-tenant law, in terms of all the protests, in terms of police reform. A lot of these cities all follow the same, right? And so as this begins to happen, we have to ask ourselves, is this going to come to a city near us? Even if you don't live in Chicago, because this to me is real insanity. This is absolutely crazy. Take a look at this. Please hit the like button. When you hit the like button, YouTube's going to share this content to educate more people about what's really going on in the economy and real estate. State law will release second-degree murder suspects without bail at the end of days. When a new Illinois law takes effect next year, it will do away with the cash bail system in the state, meaning suspects charged with felonies including second-degree murder, aggravated battery, and arson will be released without bail. The Counter-Signal reports the Safety, Accountability, Fairness, Equity Today Act, also called the Safety Act, will end cash bail. It includes 12 non-detainable offenses. Listen to what these offenses are, because it is absolutely crazy. Second-degree murder, aggravated battery, arson without bail, as well as drug-induced homicide, kidnapping, burglary, robbery, intimidation, aggravated DUI, aggravated fleeing and eluding, drug offenses, threatening a public official, all of which are non-detainable offenses. Think about what's happening in the economy right now in the world. A lot of people's financial position has never been weaker with record high inflation. You have everything is just going through the roof. Everything is extremely expensive, and now we're starting to see these job layoffs. The big question is, if all of this crime becomes no longer a detainable action, then why wouldn't people commit these crimes to survive, right? A lot of people...
Think about that. He just said the realest shit in the world. What's going to stop these people from committing these crimes? It's going to be like the parasites. It's going to be like, you know, it's going to be stand your ground all the way around, because what you going to do to keep, what do you do to keep the bugs from eating your plants? You got to exterminate them, right? Ultimately, at the end of the day, that's what these parasites that are going to be coming for your shit. You know, if you ain't got no security, if you ain't got no protection, who gonna stop it? Because that's everybody's go-to, right? Is the police. The police, we don't call it police, but what we see now is the police don't even be showing up. And a lot of these offenses, especially in Illinois, these severe offenses, man, what the fuck? Like, think about this. This is where the world is heading. This happened in less than, what is it? We in September right now, October, November, December, bam, January, 3 months out from this all rolling out, and we're gonna see it. We're gonna see it happen right in front of our eyes, right here. But let's get back to it.
People are getting pushed and pushed and pushed financially. If you ever watch the Discovery Channel, when you see animals in the wild, they do whatever they need to do to survive. Why wouldn't it be any different in a city like Chicago? When the law takes...
It already is. That's what it is out there right now. It's the wild. What do you think? You think somebody's gonna go hungry? No, they finna come get your shit real fast, real quick. They need that. Let me have that. And what's gonna stop somebody? The morals or the ethics? You think someone's stomach growling and they family they need to eat? You think that's gonna stop them? Is the moral or ethic code? Nah, hell nah. The only thing that prevents them now is getting locked up and taken away from their family and feeling some kind of pain when it comes to the consequences of their actions. But now without no consequences, what the fuck happens? We're about to see.
Effect January 1st, 2023. Criminals charged with the crimes mentioned above will be released without bail. The bail system will be replaced by a bail system that considers the offense severity, the risk of not appearing in court, and the potential threat to the community if a person is released. When signaling the legislation, Governor J.B. Pritzker remarked the measure marks a substantial step towards dismantling systemic racism that plagues our communities, our state, and our nation, and brings us closer to true safety, true fairness, and true justice. Supporters of the measure say it's a step in the...
True safety and true justice. Man, who the fuck is this for? True safety and true justice. That's what the name of this is. It's safe with a hyphen and a T at the end to call it safety. Ultimately, and it, like who comes up with this shit? Where is this shit made at? What the fuck?
Making the justice system equal and fair, especially for minority communities. Now, I don't agree with any of that. That's just my opinion. I personally think that it wouldn't matter if I was a minority and lived in a minority community. If I was a grandmother and I had young children and kidnapping was now legal and people could not be detained for it, I wouldn't want to be in that community. I wouldn't want to be there, right? I'm sure a lot of people are looking at all these other crimes saying, you know what, worked my whole life, I have a family here, I want to keep them safe, and then these types of policies are going to make it very, very challenging for that safety to actually be enforced, right? This is going to be very interesting to watch how this whole thing plays out. House Chair of Illinois legislation, Black Caucus Rep. Cam Buckner, Democrat Chicago, told Capitol Hill News that the SAFETY Act was the first stab at addressing public safety issues and police distrust in our minority communities. It's the first stab. The 800-page law also addresses detainee rights, police certification standards, use of force, body cameras. It's also the ending of the cash bail system that's getting the most attention. Supporters of the law say that the cash bail system is not fair for poor defendants, but a rising chorus of law enforcement officials and prosecutors across the Prairie State are sounding the alarm. Will State's attorney James Glasgow said the YouTube video will be the end of days. Once the law kicked in, he says the hands of police, prosecutors, and judges will be tied. Glasgow said he won't be able to hold people longer for 3 months if they demand trial. On the 90th day, they get out no matter what the crime they committed. Think about that. This is a state attorney saying this. No matter the crime, think of the most heinous, craziest situation. Think of all the things that have happened last decade, the craziest things. They're saying on the 90th day, they get out no matter what they did. No matter what they did, the state attorney said. He called on voters to demand if anyone running for election in November to repeal the measure, the bill will destroy the city and the state of Illinois. I don't even understand how the people who supported it can not realize that. Brown County State Attorney Mike Hill, Sheriff Justin Oliver, and Mount Sterling Police Chief Brandon Norris said in an 1,800-word statement that releasing so many suspects in this manner will have disastrous consequences for the entire state of Illinois. Those who support the new law say that the current system imposes different justice systems on defendants who can afford their bond compared to those who cannot. While we agree that a person's freedom should not depend on their bank account, completely eliminating the current system was never the answer. Abolishing cash bail means that every person that has been held in jail awaiting trial will have their bonds. You think about this. Everybody in jail, everyone in jail will be able to get out, and community safety will be put at risk. The 3 Brown County officials noted the new law is full of contradictions, ambiguities, and very poorly drafted. Lawyers across the state are all scratching their heads, wondering how the new system is going to work and keep people safe. Additionally, beginning January 1st, 2023, judges will no longer be allowed to consider the person's threat to the community. Serial domestic abusers, sex offenders, residential burglars will be set free without judges being allowed to consider public safety generally unless the prosecutions can prove by clear and convincing evidence that the accused possesses a real and present threat to the safety of persons and no condition can mitigate the threat. The 3 officials concluded the statement by saying that they didn't want to incite fear, but to educate the public on the reality coming January 1st. When someone commits a crime in Illinois, that person will not be held in jail absent of extreme circumstances. An Illinois Supreme Court commission said that studied the state's pretrial system for 2 years released the report in 2020, noting simply eliminating cash bail on the onset without first implementing meaningful reforms and dedicating adequate resources to allow evidence-based risk assessment and supervision would be premature. What do you think about this entire situation? Do you think that people in Chicago, in Illinois, are going to be in for a big surprise coming January 1st, 2023? This is only 3 months. I mean, we're basically mid-September. So in about 3 months, we're going to start to see all of this start to really happen. And when this does in fact happen, what's going to happen to property values? I would not want to own property there if I was going to have my family there. There's no way. I would not want to travel there. I would assume that tourism revenue will shrink. We're going to see more companies leaving Chicago. Tax revenue for the city is going to shrink. And then the net result of that is going to be less police. I mean, if you're a police officer, would you want to, I mean, what's the point of even being a police officer there if you're not allowed to stop crime, right? You wouldn't more likely want to be there. I think that we could see something very, very big here. I think something very huge. And unfortunately, it would not surprise me to see it go to LA next, then New York, then Chicago, or to Atlanta, or to Boston, or to Atlanta, and all of these other places all throughout the country. It would not surprise me for us to start seeing this trickle over, just like we saw with, defund the police. This could happen. What do you think? Very curious as to your thoughts on this. Drop your comments below. Subscribe here, and subscribe also to my second channel. It's an interactive call-in podcast.
Something big is going to happen. Hell yeah. Think about that. Illinois is already big. LA, if you go to LA, something like that, imagine LA already on fire right now. They already going for all the rich people. You can't even wear a watch or a chain out right now. They on your helmet. Think about this, and at the end of the day, this is gonna come down, push come to shove. Only the strong gonna survive. Like they say, the purge, end of days. But y'all stay aware out there, man. I make these little type of videos just to bring awareness to the whole situation right there. I think when it comes to like sex offenders and shit like that, we don't want them motherfuckers out and about. Kidnappers, motherfuckers that prey on the old and stuff like that. Yeah, those type of motherfuckers deserve to be in a motherfucking hell-like prison. You know what I mean? And ultimately with bills and stuff like this, legislature going through, that opens the doorway for these motherfuckers just to continuously do what they do. But like always, y'all tell me what y'all think. Drop your thoughts in the comments. I'm going to tap in with y'all. Until next video,